Hi Siri, I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Good morning. It's a hump day edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a lot to talk about today. We'll talk a little football, a little baseball, a little bit of whatever you want to talk about. If you missed it last night or yesterday, all road teams won except the San Diego Padres in baseball. And I'm sure JC, good morning, JC. You're on the Titan More Hotline courtesy of Comfort Temp. Did you watch any baseball?
Did, and I love afternoon baseball in October, QB, the playoffs. It's what's better. Few things are better than that. There are some, but that is a good thing to have. I enjoyed baseball yesterday. Loved seeing Tarek Skubal, 6 innings, 4 hits. Loved seeing Cole Reagan's 6 innings, 4 hits. The Mets are hot. And, you have to really hand it to the Detroit Tigers. The Detroit Tigers hopefully will eliminate Houston, but they are the hottest team since August. The Detroit Tigers and the San Diego Padres. The Tigers are this year's, or could be this year's, Texas Rangers, because this time of year is about the team that gets hot, QB. It's all about the team that just connects and clicks. And I'm thinking right now it's the Tigers in the American League, but we'll see. It just started. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, but I was very
calm down.
Calm down.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of baseball left to be. I was thinking about this yesterday when I was watching some of it.
Yeah.
If somebody gave you $500 per player that you can name on these teams, JC, how much money do you think you would have?
Well, we don't watch baseball during the year, QB.
I know. I was thinking about that. I'll go, you know what? If somebody said, okay, name every player you know for the Mets or for the Padres, and I'd give you $1,000 for each person you got correct. I don't think I could get to $10,000. I don't think I can name 10 players that played yesterday.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I do know who Cole Reagan's is, though, and I do know who.
Well, I've never even heard of that guy till just now.
He's a Kansas City ace, man. You don't watch the Royals. That's why you don't know. And it's okay. It's okay.
How many people do?
It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. Now, there was a guy we all did watch who, in between shows for me, passed away. And I think it is a crying shame and an absolute sin that this man is not accepted into the Hall of Fame, thanks to a bunch of guys named Bud Selig and Rob Manfred. Yes, Pete Rose bet on baseball. Yes, he admitted it in 2004. Yes, he was a 17-time All-Star. Yes, he was the hits leader. Yes, he was the 73 NL MVP. Yes, he won 3 World Series. Yes, he managed. He was one of the greatest to ever walk the field. We all know this, and we all know what he did. But what he did, because of what the Black Sox did in 1919, should not be combined. What happened in 1919 does not affect what happens today, or wouldn't have really affected anything that happened in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. My God, they were taking steroids. They were cheating out of their minds in the 90s. And Pete Rose apologized, and he admitted it. And he should have been admitted into the Hall of Fame before he passed away. It is a sin that this clown jerk-off named Rob Manfred would not allow his application for admittance into the Hall of Fame before he died. Rob Manfred is an awful commissioner. He took the All-Star game out of Atlanta, and he is the problem. And that's why baseball, to me, has a black eye today. Not because of what Pete Rose did, but because he's not in the Hall of Fame while he was living. And guess what's going to happen? Probably in about 5 years from now, somebody's going to just give up and say, let's put him in. And so Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall of Fame. And then the Atlanta Braves ran into this team. We talked about it before the show. The Padres, let's pray and hope they beat the atheist Dodgers and that they win the National League so that they can play the Yankees in the World Series. Okay?
Yeah. Tony says on Facebook Live, the Mets have Pete Alonso, Danny Young, and Harrison Bader. I knew they had Bader and Alonso. I know they have Danny Young, who's a former Gator. I don't even remember Danny Young playing here, quite honestly.
How about Francisco Lindor?
He's talking about the Gators.
I know the Gators. Pete Alonso, great.
Yeah, I know Lindor. Okay, Joseph, I don't quite understand Joseph's stat here that he's throwing out. He says, QB, here's a crazy stat. Jaden Daniels has thrown more touchdowns,
He's
23,
awesome.
than incompletions, 18 so far this season. He's not thrown 23 touchdowns.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That would be
Joseph, go check that stat.
that would be
That would be a record.
touchdowns a game, but that would be 6 per game. All right, they
Yeah.
played 4 games, so just check the numbers there. But listen, I think the point is right, though. The initial point is how great this kid has performed for Washington and brought that franchise to the forefront now, and the fans are excited, and they should be. And listen, how about Dan Quinn? He should be excited too. He's actually got a chance now as a head coach, maybe. He had the Super Bowl in the palm of his hand, and he let it go because he didn't kick that field goal that would have put New England in all likelihood out of reach to win that Super Bowl. But forget about the Falcons. He's got the Washington team now, and they are legit in the NFC.
Yeah. So we have a text here. Oh no, speaking of Dan Quinn, somebody I saw somewhere on Twitter, people were raising hell because Dan Quinn, he coaches with his hat on backwards, with his headset over it. People have problems with that. You know how people have problems with Billy wearing black. By the way, JC, do you have problems with your coach at Alabama wearing black?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I just wanted to put that out there.
No, absolutely not. My coach.
Are any of the fans raising hell that their coaches wear black on the sidelines?
Not one that I'm aware.
Okay.
Not one.
All right.
Its difference is that Billy's not winning. If he were winning, nobody'd say a word.
They wouldn't give a damn if he wore purple.
They wouldn't care. But that's the problem. And maybe Billy gets a win this weekend. It'd be nice to see. UCF, they like to chatter. The UCF people like to call themselves the best, the national champions, whatever they want to call themselves this week. And they really are looking for an identity. If Florida can just smack them and send them back down to Orlando, how refreshing would that be? So we don't have to listen to the Mike Bianchis of the world tell us how UCF gets this or should be that. And UCF is a Big 12 team now. They have a conference, so there are no excuses. So they need to be beaten this weekend. And if they are beaten this weekend, I think that would be enjoyable.
So AU Gator says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. I guess on Joseph's stat that Joseph screwed up. He said he must be using Tim Walz' math.
Tim Walz. Oh, dear Lord, help us.
All right. So recapping last night, Tigers win 3-1 over the Astros. Royals 1-0 over the Orioles. 8-4 Mets over Brewers.
Yes.
Braves lose 4-0. Only home team that won were the Padres. So
Michael Harris.
You got those same matchups today.
Michael King. So good.
Yeah.
The Braves couldn't hit him. The Braves couldn't hit Michael King. The Padres only got 3 runs themselves, or was it 4? Whatever. They didn't really light the world on fire either. But Atlanta, what happened? I thought Chris Sale was going to start for Atlanta. What happened?
Well, he's supposed to start in that last game against the Mets. Had back spasms. Okay. I guess he still has back spasms. I don't think he's pitching today either.
That's hard. Well, then the Braves season's over. Okay.
I think Max Fried's pitching.
Yeah, Fried's pitching today. Maybe they'll have him for game 3 if necessary. But, we are at the doorstep for the Brewers, the Orioles, the Astros, and the Braves.
This tells you how much I don't watch baseball anymore, JC.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the games.
Yeah.
Okay. Verlander's not even on their roster. I mean, he just dresses out, but he's not even on the postseason roster, which is still – I still don't understand. If you're not on the roster, why do those dudes dress out? Okay. And then I'm watching some of the Brewers game.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do not watch regular season baseball.
Right.
Christian Yelich, he's hurt. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. He's their best player, right? Would you say yes?
He's their best player, maybe, I guess.
You even know who Christian Yelich is?
Not really. No.
I think he's been up for the MVP a few times.
Oh.
So anyway, he's not. I mean, all these dudes are hurt, so whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, I watched some baseball, watched some other stuff on TV. It should have been a running clock and whatever the other thing I was watching.
Okay, so we got Christopher and the Rhode Island Gator. Love the Rhode Island Gator. Talking about Sale off the roster for the opening round. Well, you know what? They've got one game not to lose before it really doesn't matter what he's doing. So, what do you think about the way they do this postseason with a wild card? I think I like it better than what was happened before when they had one.
Well, it used to be just a one game deal. I don't. That was dumb.
I wasn't a fan of that. But
maybe we should send Chris Sale some core power. What do you think about that, JC? Champion recovery. Chris Sale with Core Power, delicious high quality protein to build muscles and electrolytes to help hydrate. Core Power, replenish, repair, and rebuild. Chris Sale, this is for you.
Yeah, there you go, Chris. Hey, listen, man, I just think it's better that the wild card is not one game anymore, and they've got an extra team in the mix. 6 teams per league, and I think that makes sense. And the Yankees are going to play the lowest seeded wild card winner, and and then the other two will play. And the same with the Dodgers. They will play the lowest seeded wild card winner, and then the other two will play for the pennant. Or not.
Okay, so Van Der wants to know if you have a putting green at your home. I said, no, he does not. If he did, it would be very flat with no undulation.
Give me a break.
Slow.
Out of here with you.
It would be rolling. It would be rolling about 4 on the centimeter.
You really are not fair about this green thing. I mean, UF changed their greens a couple years ago. They did that because they put the money into it. These jerk offs that run this country club, they've had these greens for 33 years.
Whose fault's that?
I know. It's a private company though, QB. You got over here at UF, they had bugs eating the greens. We
also have a competitive golf team that needs a good playing surface.
They need more than that. They need a better facility.
Well, I know that, but their greens are outstanding.
There's no doubt.
All right, Tom says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum. How does UF scheme wise defense versus offense both match up? Your guys' score predictions. Look, Gus has always done a good job offensively.
Yeah, he has.
He's got a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Likes to run fast.
Yeah, I think that will give us problems offensively. I think we'll score a lot. I think it'll be a shootout.
Okay, bet the over. We're saying bet the over here. I think UCF was exposed a little bit last week by Colorado, which I think shocked all of us because I think Colorado had a lot to improve upon after that Nebraska game. But to Deion's credit, I think they have improved. You just have to watch them, and you can tell they're a better team. They've got a Heisman Trophy candidate. So, yeah, they went down to Orlando and really proved something. UCF was flat. I don't think there will be any flatness here, but the Florida Gators, the University of Florida, needs to beat UCF, okay? That needs to happen. That has to happen. So, again, here we are back to we're at another point, a pivotal point in our program's history here at the University of Florida where they have to win a football game to keep things from becoming derailed. And that's where we are again. I mean, it's hard to deal with that kind of pressure. It is. But at some point, you got to just say, screw it. Let's just go out and play, man. Who cares? It's football. Let's go out there and play. We should be better than Central Florida. And they don't like to be called Central Florida. They don't like to be called the Golden Knights anymore. They are now the University of Central Florida, and they are the Knights, not the Golden.
They're always going to be the Golden Knights to me.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. This was on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. This is from some person named My View on the World. Says, it is astounding that these guys don't hear themselves. They want Billy fired for not winning games, but with Lane, it's okay to not win games.
Who? With what?
He says they want Billy fired for not winning games, but with Lane, it's okay to not win games.
Oh, come on.
I talked about this on Monday, I guess.
Come on.
Remember, if a guy wins all his games, he's going to be holding the trophy, and he's probably not going to go anywhere, people. There's only one coach that's going to be able to do that at the end of the year, holding that trophy. I'm not even going to waste time on that. That's just stupidity.
Yeah. Listen, Florida's track record in the last 3 years speaks for itself. That's what the problem.
Well, it's not the last 3 years, JC. You got to go back till 2012.
Okay, I know, but Billy wasn't responsible for those years.
Right.
He's only responsible for where he's overseen, and what he's overseen is a bloated department that needs to cut the fat, and they need to be more efficient out there on the field and win games. That's simple. You can't make it any more. I can't be more simple than that. It's a simple process. You either win or you lose, right? And your record is you are what your record says you are, right? And you have to beat a team that is 95 miles or 115 miles away to the south that has always been in the shadow of your university on all fronts. It's a 55-year-old school. It's hardly even existed. And they play in an awful little dumpy stadium that moves and shakes because it's not a very good place to play football. And so they have to be beaten. You can't let them win. The Florida would not do a home-and-home they would do a 1 game there and 2 games here deal with UCF because they had that leverage to do it. UCF thought that they could try to get a home and home, but they did. They got 1 game in 2033 or whenever the hell it is. But you're going to play them twice here, and you have to beat a school like that in this stadium. And I hate always saying, well, this is the big game, and we have to define our program by this weekend. And if we don't do it, oh, my God. But really, that's where we're at, right? I mean, Florida has to win this game.
Brandon asked here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Bell Law. I know this is getting on. We're really never on a topic, Brandon, so don't worry. But do y'all think about Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame? He brings high energy and discipline, hires good coordinators, I don't know who his coordinators are, but they're terrible on offense. Brings in good talent to not so attractive place. Well, it's Notre Dame, and he's not making all that much compared to others. Do y'all think he would do well at UF with his track record in Florida? I don't think there's any way in the world Marcus Freeman's even on the list.
There is none.
None.
No.
Nothing against him.
No.
I firmly believe if there's a coaching change, there is no way they hire a defensive guy.
No, there's no way. And I don't think Marcus Freeman would have Florida on his list. Okay, so let's forget about this idea that we are the Notre Dame of the South, the greatest job in America. It's not the case. The reality is that this program is flailing, and we've got to get a guy that can turn it around, and it has to be a splash hire, like we've been saying, splash. But that guy's got to be convinced that this is a place for he and his family for the next 10 years. And that's the only issue I got, because we don't know who's running the program over there. I really don't know. I mean, they say it's this guy, it's that guy, the AD, the president. I don't know. Coach.
Josh on the Titan Mark text line says Alabama's looking like the best team in the SEC, or would you go with Texas or
Georgia?
Too
early for that. It's too early.
I'm a neutral feel. Who is the best? I think you can throw Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee.
Yeah, that's it.
And I even put Ole Miss out there. Look, I don't think anybody's going to go undefeated in this league this year.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, it's cutthroat in this league. It's very difficult. Schedules are balanced. It's hard. I found it interesting that the Big Ten and the SEC are talking about joining up, and that would require the SEC to go to 9 games, which they're going to do in 2026 anyway. Okay, they are going to do that. But, those are the 4 QB. Ole Miss, I think, showed us who they really are. And even though they're talented, and Lane's probably got the best roster he's ever had at Mississippi, and I think that is the case, they laid an egg when somebody smacked them in the face. And that was Kentucky. And Kentucky does that. Kentucky's a physical team. Whether they're talented or not on the skill positions to win a lot of games is yet to be seen, but they are physical as hell, and they brought it to Ole Miss. They did. And they converted a 4th and 7, which I can't understand. You got single coverage on a guy, you throw it up there, and the guy makes a play and wins the game for you. That's to me, that I don't know who to blame on that, but
there's no blame. He had pretty good coverage. It's just a hell of a throw and catch.
It's a good play. It's a good play. They made a play at the right time, at just the right time. But they were physical, and that's why they stayed close with Georgia. And when you know that, QB, I mean, when you look at these athletes on the field at Alabama, at Georgia, and Texas, they just look different than the guys you see in Arkansas, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt. They just look different, right?
They do, but it's changed a lot. I think a lot of teams are getting
they're
getting better.
All
right, Greg says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Pump, it isn't that Billy wears black, it's that he won't wear an orange or blue shirt on game day. Okay, that's what I'm talking about here, Greg. Kalen DeBoer wore black at Alabama on the sideline.
It did have red letters on it, and he had a red hat.
Right. Well,
he had a red hat on.
Billy's shirt is black, and it has the red, orange and blue Jumpman and the Gator. Nobody gives a damn what color he wears. My point is if nobody in Alabama, if they would have lost to Georgia, would be bitching about Kalen DeBoer wearing black. That has no bearing on whether we win the damn game or lose the game about what we wear. All right. This is interesting. I've not heard this. This is from Chris and Mayak on the Titan More text line. Okay. So did you see that Cormani McClain and Jason Marshall were in attendance at the UCF Colorado game last week? I didn't know they were there.
Okay.
He says that is an NCAA violation, apparently. I don't know how that's possible.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no way that's a violation. Well, how can that be a violation if you're sitting in the stands watching another team play on your bye week?
Well, they weren't on the field either. They were in the stands, right?
They were in the stands.
Who the hell cares?
So, Chris, let us know if that is actually a violation or you're asking if it's a violation.
We're not. Yeah,
I don't know.
No,
I don't know how that's even possible to be a violation.
We're not in the compliance department here, dude. Why would it be? I mean, the kids just went on their own time to go watch a football game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I know if I don't even know that's there's no way. There's no way that's
no, it's their time. They're spending their time going to watch a football game somewhere. I don't think that's a problem. I don't see why it would be. And if it is,
Michael asked on YouTube brought about Quality Plum. Shane, if you were the head coach of the Gators, what would you do to practice how to tackle properly since teams are not allowed to practice tackling? Well, they're allowed, just players don't want. I mean, coaches in today's world, they have all these damn contraptions, these dummies that roll that you go and tackle. Look, I mean, tackling's hard. Okay, we're not the only team that doesn't tackle well. There's a lot of people in America struggling tackling. So,
yeah, but the ones that win make those tackles.
Well, they also miss them too.
Okay, but I don't see Georgia missing a lot of.
I saw both those teams missing a lot of tackles the other night.
Okay,
because JC, it's hard to tackle athletes in space in today's world.
It is. But the ones who play on Sunday usually don't miss those tackles.
Yeah.
That's why
Tony brings up a good point. He says Napier should wear the swinging Gator polo. I agree. He would be fine though by Nike.
Yeah, they wouldn't like that. They wouldn't like that. Yeah, that's a great logo. That's probably one of the
It's the greatest logo ever.
Coolest logos on campus. It
Yeah.
really is cool. What kind of crowd do you think we're going to see on Saturday? It's a night
It's
game.
sold out, JC.
I think everybody's going to be there. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be loud. I'm really happy they're playing an in-state team like this. This is going to be something that's needed to happen. And just to shut up these folks down in Orlando. They want to equivocate their program to the rest of the free world, and that's okay. They should try, but they're not anywhere near it. And so hopefully they can be put back in their box down there, and they can, revel in the Big 12. But I am interested in this Big 10 SEC possible alliance that we're going to see, because Sankey is going to meet with Petiti, and they are going to talk about non-conference scheduling. That's one of the things they're going to talk about. And they're going to talk about revenue. They're going to talk about important things that just make these conferences stronger, because as far as you and I are concerned, QB, the SEC is the only conference that matters, right? And it's most likely that the Big Ten is the second most, important conference. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's very interesting. Keep your eye on that coming up here.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew says if Bama and Georgia have man coverage on wide receivers, why can't we? Do play man, Andrew? Everybody plays man. Andy says NCAA rule is bylaw 11.6.1, which prohibits off-campus in-person scouting of future opponents in the same season because all teams can't afford scouting. That might be the dumbest damn thing I've ever read. Not from you, not because you put it on there, Andy, but think about it. Okay, you're trying to tell me. Let's just use Creed. Let's say Creed Whittemore was not at Mississippi State and was with the Gators. Gators are off.
Okay.
I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna watch my brother play Colorado.
Yeah.
And plus, there's no difference in these kids sitting in the stands than when they're going to sit on their iPad and watch the tape.
Yeah. No, there isn't. And they're going to spend half the time while they're watching this game on this. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not even going to be looking down on the field. That's just
kids don't know. And I'll be honest with you, players don't know they wouldn't know how to scout in the first place. They're just watching the damn game like JC would. Look,
they're being kids. Yeah, they're being kids, and they're enjoying what they watch. They're being kids. They're being kids, and they're having fun somewhere else. It was quiet here last weekend. Nothing wrong with going to a football game. I don't think I believe that either, QB.
Yeah, Andy says the rules implemented in 1994. So
yeah, okay.
So does that mean those guys are suspended? Oh, Lord, I hope Jason Marshall Jr. is not suspended. He's our best player.
That would be the biggest, most asinine thing. We would have heard something by now if that was a problem. It's not a problem. It's not going to be a problem. We shouldn't create it. Let's not even talk about it. Can we not talk about it? It's
Yeah,
not,
we won't talk about it.
not an issue, QB. It's not an
Not
issue.
an issue. Okay.
All right. So what we got coming up is it's a Wednesday, man. We're so close to the weekend again. I love it. Oh, by the way, I saw my future knee surgeon at the salad place yesterday, and I bought him a lunch. So I said, "This is for you. Do not, please do not." Or I was.
Are you taking something out, or are you putting something in your knee?
No, it's an arthroscopic knee surgery.
Tell them to put in a ligament from a former Jamaican 100-meter sprinter.
Yes, QB. That doesn't work like that, but that's a great thought.
Well, they do that when they do ACLs.
Oh, I'll be darned. Okay.
They take ligaments from cadavers.
So
I'd be like, go find me the fastest human being that you can and bring me their ligament.
All right, QB. So the Bucks play the Falcons, the divisional game tomorrow night. All right.
All right. So you want to do the Peachland Dental picks?
It's just it's a Thursday pro game, and it's the divisional game, very important game actually. And then what are
our records, by the way?
Well, I got it in the house. You're up by 2 on me. Okay, you're up 2 on me. 2 picks, winners to me. Thursday in college, so we have small schools playing, which is great football. I think Texas State is fun to watch. They're going to play Troy, and Sam Houston's probably a pretty decent team. I don't know. They're going to play a game. Yeah, they're 4-1, Sam Houston. And then Friday night, we've got games we can talk about when I come on Friday. But the pro game, on Amazon Prime, which I watched it last week, it's hard for me to watch it on the streaming thing. I just don't like it, QB. There's something wrong with it. It just doesn't seem like I'm watching.
On what screen? What do you mean?
Well, when you watch these Thursday night games on Amazon Prime, it seems to me the streaming is not as concise or as clear. It's not as good as watching it on linear television, and it's hard to rewind. It's hard to change the channel and go back. I hate it. Okay, I don't like streaming. I think people just need to accept the fact that you're overpaying for cable. Just buy it. Forget about it. It's not going to change your life to have linear television, and just live your life. Anyway, nobody's listening to that. But because they're all going to streaming like you. But the game is Atlanta-Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is a 1.5-point underdog to the Falcons, who really.
I'll take the Falcons at home.
They got lucky to win last week, QB, a 58-yard field goal.
Every game is different. I'll take the Falcons at home.
All right, I'll take the Bucks. Give me Tampa.
All right, so while Bill Kelso on YouTube says, I have a cadaver ACL, baby. And Jack says, QB, if Jeff Brom is offered, does he come? I doubt it. It's his alma mater.
Yeah,
he could leave.
You think he can bring that? I don't see it. But he lost too. By the way, folks, he lost too.
Tim on Facebook Live says a Jamaican ACL doesn't make you faster. How do you know that, Tim?
Hey, QB, because maybe you have a hip problem. Hey, but
no, but if you have a bad knee and a guy passed away that was a world-class sprinter, would his ligament help you? I don't know if it would or not, but Tim takes things too personal.
Who?
I wonder if Tim saw the running score last night or the running clock.
Yeah.
They should have just said running clock, game over.
The guy forgot where he was in China or what he said. Yeah, okay. But at any rate, Jeff Brom was beaten last week. QB, does that disqualify him for the Florida job?
Hell no, he doesn't. No. He's a damn good football coach.
I was asking that rhetorically.
I know you are.
I know the guy can coach up some offense, but
they had. Speaking of that game, they had 3 turnovers in the first quarter. They had a snap over the damn punter's head for a touchdown. Something else. Yeah,
somebody asked me the other day. They said, I hear Shane talking about there is zero chance they're going to hire a defensive coach that could hire an offensive coordinator because the problem here has been defense. So give me the reason again why that would never happen going forward. Okay.
Do you think Will Muschamp was a very good defensive coach?
I do.
Yeah, I think he's outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
We had like 3 to 4 different offensive coordinators when he was here. Okay. Mark Stoops. Do you say Mark Stoops is an outstanding defensive head coach?
Yeah.
Okay. Have they ever been good on offense?
No.
He's had like 12. He's been there 10 or 12 years. He had a different coordinator, it seems like, every year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Defensive coaches think differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'd have to sit here and really think about a
I
defensive-minded
would have
head
to.
coach that has a good offense.
Well, Saban adjusted.
I mean, think about Kirby. Okay,
there's
would
one.
you say? But would you say they have like this fun offense to watch?
No, they missed a threat on the outside. Although Bell could be that guy.
No. I'm not talking about one game, JC. I'm just talking about
I know.
think about what he's had since he's been there offensively. I think Todd Monken did a really good job because he's very creative. I think they've gone backwards with Bobo from a play calling standpoint, but I'm sure there's a few out there. But I'm telling you, it's a much easier, in my opinion, to get an offensive minded guy and then tell him to go find a good defensive guy. Now, that hasn't worked either, but I think it's a lot easier to do that.
That is true, but there are cases where defensive coaches have had great offenses.
Well, I know. I'm just saying it seems like it never is, and I'm sure there are cases.
Well, Nick Saban's the one that should come to mind first. I mean, God,
he had some good ones, but
Bill
how many did he have? He had multiple.
Saban, Sark, O'Brien. That's because they left. Because the Saban coaching school basically promotes you to better things going forward in your life as a coach. It does. It's a resuscitation pool. You stick your head in the water and you're reborn, okay, as a coach. And that's what it is at Nick Saban's School of Coaching, Resuscitation, and Therapy. But, he brought in great offensive minds. Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, Bill O'Brien. He had, I mean, come on.
I would say they weren't great on offense until Lane and Sark got there. I think they were good on offense because they had better players.
Yeah.
But they were boring as hell to watch. You have to admit.
They ran the ball a lot.
Yeah. Tim says Billy's not going anywhere.
Oh, Tim must know something. He must know how to get under your skin there, QB.
Oh, no. JC, when you play in front of 100,000 people, do you think somebody's comment's going to bother me?
Yes, because I've seen you lose your mind over somebody.
Because sometimes these people make no sense. They make no sense.
Okay, well, yeah, I've heard you, QB. Yeah, I heard you, buddy. Well,
all right. This hang on. This is I don't know who this is from 941. It says Frank Frangi's top pick to replace Sunbelt Billy is Jeff Brom.
Oh,
I love Jeff Brom. I think he'd be outstanding, but I don't see him leaving his alma mater.
Okay. Yeah. Just get me
Bob
somebody.
Stoops is the only defensive coach that had good offense. He did. He hired Mike Leach initially. I mean, there's examples, but I think it's, and maybe it's because I'm an offensive guy, but I've been around too many defensive head coaches in my career and watched them. They like to try to control what the offense does. They want to play that damn field position.
Kick,
all that nonsense.
Right. Well, I think we've all diagnosed the issues here. I think we can talk about it till we're blue in the face. I think it's now time for folks to just go sit down and scream and yell and hope they win. But QB, if everybody wants to see a coaching change, and then all of a sudden the fortunes here change, meaning the losses start turning into wins. And albeit the schedule doesn't portend to that, but if that were to hypothetically happen, does that change the calculus on this coach?
What are you saying? If they win, you talking about if they win this year?
I'm just saying, and again,
I hope they win, but JC, I just don't think we're not very good.
I know, it's understand. I totally understand, but
I think we got so many issues personnel wise and coaching wise.
So
real quick,
I'll put you on the spot. How many more wins then? I'll put you on the spot. How many wins do we see
this year?
Yeah, putting you on the spot, QB. Putting you on the spot. On the spot. If we're not that good, and I'm trying to say that we could get better, what does that portend?
Well, I mean, look. Here's the thing. I don't know if I've ever seen in all my years. I started football at 5, retired at 36.
Yeah,
and of course at younger age, we didn't have bye weeks.
Yeah.
But I bye weeks, now they're supposed to have had good practices, but again, I don't care. They've had these physical practices. And it's like Coach Spurrier and I were talking yesterday on our show. You know what we used to do during the bye week?
What?
The veterans, the older guys, the starters, we used to go out there, we'd throw routes on air for about 30 minutes, and then we stood around and watched all the young guys scrimmage. And you know what him and his coaching staff did? They went to Crescent Beach and freaking body surf.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
that's a different time, QB.
No. I guarantee you. that he and his staff, if he was coaching today, would do the same thing because that's how he does it.
Probably would.
And that's why I feel like Lane coaches the same way he does because they do extracurricular things by playing softball with his coaching staff and his player. They make it fun. So what I'm trying to say is here, I don't care if you practice in shorts, if you practice butt naked, if you practice in full gear and do the Oklahoma drill. I don't think it changes one damn thing in 3 practices. Think about it. You're only practicing 3 times during a bye week.
Yeah. So there's no. So I guess since you didn't answer the question, the answer is going to be probably not many.
No, I mean, you tell me. Have you watched this play?
Oh, I'm going to tell you. I'll answer my own question if you want me to.
Okay.
I see one more win. That's it.
Yeah. It's not going to be many.
I'll be happy to say it. I'm not afraid to say it because I've seen enough. But listen, I don't want that to happen. I'm not hoping that happens. I want to be wrong in this case. But my question was, if the calculus changes because this guy actually comes together and this team somehow finds magic and they win a few games and maybe shock somebody like, say, Tennessee or somebody like that because they've owned Tennessee, then, what does that do? And I don't think I don't think there's a problem asking that. It's hypothetical, and it's what we all hope for.
But again,
nobody showing up on Saturday night is hoping that Billy loses again, QB.
Right. No, I'm pulling for us to win, but look, it's not been good, and I thought it was going to change, and I was wrong. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong.
All right, I get it. And I listen, I got egg on my face too. I said 7-8 wins this year, but
here's the thing: for us to win Saturday night, we're going to have to score over 40 points, in my opinion.
Absolutely, because they can't stop anybody. That's true. And the same thing for Tennessee next week. My God, that game's coming up. So listen, man, the schedule does not portend to success this year, and we did say that. But we also talked about embracing the schedule and this and that. And
yes, I think it's great. I think it's awesome. The schedule.
Okay, all right. Well, the results are going to determine
okay, let me just ask you this before I let you go.
All right.
If Florida had played Ole Miss's schedule to this point,
yes,
do you think they would be 4-1?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I actually do. Yeah. And I think that and I don't think that helps anything. And I think it showed against Kentucky the other day. And I think that's what the Big Ten runs into when they play each other. And these teams are so soft, they get into a situation where they just get smoked. Now, Michigan was an exception to the rule last year. But look at what happened to Ohio State in 2020. I mean, listen, I think scheduling is important. It is absolutely important. You have to have competitive games on your schedule if you want to learn anything about your team. Brian Kelly said, look, I didn't learn anything about my team when we beat McNeese State by 100 points. He didn't learn anything about his team, but he learned something about his team when they got beat. And that's important. And maybe Lane's learned something about his team that he can correct after they lost to the Big Blue Nation, which was embarrassed by the South Carolina Gamecocks at home. So
this text on the Tactomar text signs, if we get to 6 wins with this pathetic team, Billy should win Coach of the Year.
Right.
And then he should be fired at the end of the
year. That's crazy. But yeah, if they were anywhere near 6 wins, this would be quite a story. All
right, Barone says this.
And he would not be fired.
He says, YouTube brought to you by Quality Home. Napier had this team lost and unprepared for the opener with 8 months to prepare. True. He isn't making any changes in the Bible. Look, I hear where you're coming with that, but you can be prepared and get your ass beat.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm not saying we were prepared and we weren't prepared. I'm just saying because Miami beat us down in pretty much every phase there was in that football game does not mean we weren't prepared and ready to play.
Right.
But we just maybe weren't very good and they're that much better than us. I don't know. But I think that's just another comment that I always laugh at, that when a team goes and struggles, like let's use Ole Miss, for example. I think everybody thought Ole Miss was going to beat Kentucky. People were like, even my Ole Miss friends.
Absolutely.
Worst game Lane's ever had. He didn't have his team prepared to play. Look, they were 2 or 3 plays away from winning the damn game as bad as they played.
But they didn't look like the team that had won 4 weeks in a row.
But my point to the story is not everybody looks great every damn game.
No.
Take the Buffalo Bills, for example.
Sure, they're terrible. But QB, this quarterback rotation thing too irritates the hell out of me. I don't like it. I'm just going to say that too. But I'm not a coach. I'm just telling you what I don't like, and I don't like it. I think you go.
All right. Before we get you out of here, JC,
Yeah.
We got a million texts here, but Monty wants this text for you, and I'll answer it as well.
Sure.
On the Titan Mart text line. If Napier wins 6 and loses the bowl game, is he retained next year?
Yes.
I don't think it matters.
If he wins 6 with this schedule, that means he's going to beat teams that he's heavily an underdog.
Yeah.
And Strickland doesn't want to pay the money, and Strickland doesn't want to be proven wrong again. But he's being proven wrong every week. So let's hope, or let's just see what happens. I don't know what to hope for anymore, QB. I want him to win, but I also want a new regime over there. And that starts from the top down. Everybody knows my feeling about this. Not that anyone cares, but that's how I am. When I talk about it and people ask me out there on the street, I tell them, listen, they've got to change everything. And that's, we're talking about, like you said, we're talking about 14 years of ineptitude. And that's what we're talking about. 14 years of ineptitude, QB. That's inexcusable for a school like this, if you ask me.
No, I agree. I have to get to this day in sports, and it was just on here. I wanted you to hear this. I did this one just for you, and the damn thing won't come up on my phone. What is going on here? It was just on here. Hang on, JC. Bear with me. Bear with me.
I got to go get my belly shots when I get out of here. I'm going to go get my terazipatide shots so I can get this weight loss thing going again.
I thought you were doing that already.
I am, but I'm stuck at 196. I can't get underneath 196. It's ridiculous.
All right. So anyway, it won't come up, but I remember in 1999, the number 3 Florida Gators played a team in the swamp. It went to like triple overtime and lost the game because they missed an extra point.
I know exactly. I was at the game. I watched it. The quarterback was a kid from Union County who played for Alabama by the name of Andrew Zhao. And Doug Johnson was your quarterback at Florida. And Sean Alexander was hard to stop. But Florida was a big favorite in that game. And they missed an extra point in overtime. And that was the difference in the game.
I think Sean Alexander scored 4 times.
He did. And you know what? Alabama missed their extra point, but Florida was called for offside. And so they got to do it again. They made it, and the game was over. And I was sitting in my dad's seats on the 40-yard line with David Smith, former Alabama quarterback who's now a referee in the SEC. And he and I watched that game. And I'll never forget that game. Andrew
JC, what were the people saying on your podcast after Coach Spurrier lost by missing an extra point and jumping off sides and allowing Alabama to kick? You think they've been raising hell back in those days?
Well, those were some interesting times because Doug was the quarterback. We never really knew.
Was Doug the quarterback in that team?
Doug was the quarterback. And Spurrier really, we never could tell if he really liked Doug or if Doug really liked him because they were pretty animated on the sideline, which I thought was a healthy thing. But it was an interesting time for Florida football in those days. Because let me tell you, Mike DuBose may have been one of the worst coaches in the history of Alabama football. But you know what Mike DuBose was, QB? He was 2-1 against Coach Spurrier. And that is the surprise of all coaching matchups was that Mike DuBose had a winning record in 3 games against Stephen Orr Spurrier. But yeah, that game was a great game, and Florida was a 10-point, 11-point favorite going in. Should have won, but yeah, they got beat that day.
All right. Well, that was This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union.
October 2nd. Wow.
All right, JC. Mark says go get your rabies shots.
I'm going to go get that belly shot. Now I'm going to go work out and get stronger, faster, meaner, tougher, and more excited. I'm going to stimulate myself, and I'm going to put on some muscle and lose some fat. And I'm going to extend my lifespan by 15 years, so you guys can put up with me.
Do what JC does during a bye week. He goes and gets fat belly shots.
I'm waiting for the pill to come out. Trust me. My hands start shaking when I get the needle, and then I tried to put the needle back in the sleeve thing, and I prick my finger every freaking time. And it's like, I can't get this damn thing. Like, I forget where I rub my belly with the alcohol prep, and it's like, oh God, where is it?
Why don't you get a Sharpie and put a big circle and then clean it, and you'll know.
Very good idea. I think that's what I'll do. Dang, the good idea, QB. Good idea. I'm going to get 30 units of terazipatide right now, Zepbound, and I'm going to go get myself lean and mean. There you go.
All right, the lean, mean fight machine, JC Corn Dog. Yeah. Have a good day, JC. We'll talk to you on Friday. Florida victorious, proud NIL partner of the Florida Gators, joined today to help make Florida victorious. We're going to take a quick timeout, come back. I'm going to try to get to a bunch of these comments and questions. I like answering them. Some of them crack me up. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Gridiron sponsors, CertaPro Painters, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, F45, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Aikido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Nest and Wild, Florida Victorious, Electronics World.
If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Florida Crackers, the brand for original Floridians. Great food and southern hospitality in the center of the universe, Brooksville, Florida. FloridaCracker.com. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titanmore hotline. A couple things here. We were referring to Barone saying Napier's team looked lost and unprepared in the opener. Then he says it's not, what does he say? The opener was no different than TAMU and all the other losses in his tenure. Right. But what I'm trying to say is you can have your team very prepared to play and you think you do, and you go out and get your butt beat and things don't look right. So just because you win a game doesn't mean your team was so well prepared is what I'm trying to say. And that's not just for Billy Napier and his team. It's for every coach. So just because you win the game doesn't mean you were more prepared than the other team or you wanted it more. I mean, you got to execute. You got to throw and catch. You got to tackle, block. I mean, it's a simple process. If your team does it better than the other team, whether you stayed out drinking all night the night before or not, it doesn't matter. People prepare different ways. And so anyway, enough of that. Greg says the 2024 Gators will end up 3-9 or 4-8 if they're lucky. This team isn't to date, unfortunately. So Coach Lane Kiffin's offense fits Florida's DNA. Yeah. All right, this text on the Titanmore text line from Felix. He says, Wyatt Langford is the first player to win both the Player of the Month and Rookie of the Month in the same month in 5 years. The other notable players who have done that, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Ryan Braun, and Yasiel Puig. Yeah, Wyatt's had a tremendous year. I don't know if he's going to win the Rookie of the Year. Obviously, I think he should. I don't watch baseball enough to know, but He's had a hell of a rookie year, no question about that. Andy says, Shane, any word on Kerwin and the Catamounts are coping with the flu? Man, it's like I said, the cell service is not great. We usually talk once a week, but he's got way too much stuff going on. It's not good, people. When I spoke with him, was it Sunday or maybe it was Monday? They were trying because they had a bye week, so a lot of kids went home and the kids couldn't get back. So I don't know if they have their entire roster back. And I'm not sure who they play. I have to look to see who they play this week. I don't know if people saw the issues that East Tennessee State had busing to play the Citadel. They got caught in a parking lot, and they couldn't get to their hotels, so they had to sleep on the buses and somehow made it to the game. They won. I'm surprised the Citadel would not reschedule it. But Zach wants my World Series prediction. Gosh, I'll do that Friday. Some of the wild card games will be over, but I hadn't really thought about it, quite honestly. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna go with the Phillies to win it all. I'll take the Phillies. I got a couple good friends that are from the Philly area. They need to win. They need to win. F45 Training merges 3 leading-edge fitness training styles into one 45-minute functional training class. Visit f45training.com to learn more. That's what JC needs to go do, is F45 training and not go get a shot. Barone says if Florida wins 3 or 4 games, it will be the third time in the past 12 years Florida had a 4-win or less season. 2013, 2017, 2024. That should be something the UA has to answer for. Yeah, there's no question. No question at all. All right. Text on the Titan Mar text line from Willie. Willie says, Shane, I think you watch NFL football. If you do, who do you think has had the best season so far as a rookie? I guess you're assuming quarterback. Let's stay with quarterbacks. Obviously, Jaden Daniels has played really, really well. I think Caleb Williams has played well at times. Drake May, I don't think has played yet. And I'm not sure any other rookie quarterbacks starting right now. I can't think. Too many concussions. Another text here on the Titan MR text line from Joshua in Memphis. He says, Shane, have your thoughts changed at all on Anthony Richardson as an NFL quarterback? No, it hasn't. I hate it. Anthony keeps getting hurt. He's been injury prone ever since high school. And, I saw somewhere, I read an article the other day. They said that, last year the Colts were probably a better team with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. And a lot of people think they're a better team now with Joe Flacco at quarterback. So I don't know what the future holds for him. But if he is going to run, now he's had trouble throwing the football at a high rate consistently. We all knew that. But if he's going to run the ball in that league, he's got to learn to protect himself. That's what Lamar Jackson does so well. He's a phenomenal runner. Same way with Jaden Daniels. He's a great runner too. They know how to protect themselves. And Anthony has not seemed to figure that out. Oh yeah, Bo Nix. Bo Nix is playing as a rookie. He's had some ups and downs, but the other day I looked at the stats and he was like 7 of 17 for -7 yards against the Jets. Oh man, that's a great question here from Kyle on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Who would you rather have, Ryan Williams or Jeremiah Smith? Woo. I'll take them both. I've seen highlights of Jeremiah Smith. I've seen a lot of highlights and I've watched Ryan Williams play. I feel like Ryan Williams is faster than him, possibly. I could be wrong on that. He looks more elusive. I'll go with Ryan Williams if I had to choose. But boy, that's they're the same age. They're both true freshmen, so they'll come out the same year. So we'll see what the NFL thinks of them when it's time for them to go into the draft. Mark asks, have you watched the NFL game that Brady has announced, doesn't know when to shut up? Yeah, he's listen, he has no experience. Like I have no experience when I was doing the color analyst, and that's basically what he's doing, but he's on TV. It's a little bit different because people are watching, so he doesn't have to describe what just happened, where on radio, most people aren't watching, driving in their car or whatever. So you have to kind of describe what happened, but I think he'll get better. But it's crazy the amount of money. I thought Greg Olson, that they got rid of, was their number one guy, is very good. Very, very good. All right, a couple more texts here. It's time to get out of here. Hope y'all enjoyed today's program, folks. We'll be here tomorrow with Brent Beard and should have somebody from UCF. Have a great day, folks. Take care.